Okay. Thank you to everybody here. So I want to thank Zabbix for this opportunity to present our technology. And first, I would like to thank one of my colleagues because he got an accident on the beginning of the week. Frederic is in the hospital. So I'm doing the presentation in replacement. I was not supposed to do the presentation, but I do it right now. So, okay. So H5 beforehand, a few words about what we are doing. H5 Network, that's a French company founded in 2009. So our job is this is an R&D company, we're a software vendor. And so we are based in Pessac, Bordeaux, Pessac-Léognan. Most of you must know it's a famous French wine. Okay. And we are making solutions to look at the network. So we have different solutions in the company. One is called H5-Flow, which is a Netflow S-Flow collectors. So we collect data from Netflow S-Flow level 3 equipment which send Netflow traffic. So we are able to go to 100,000 flow per minute. So we have the capacity to follow a huge quantity of traffic. This is the first product. We have also small boxes that we can put on the network. It is a small form factor solution when Netflow is not available on the equipment. In some case, you have level 3 equipment, so you can get Netflow S-Flow tickets. But in certain cases, you cannot do it because you don't have the possibility to collect this information from the router or for the switch. So what we do in that case, we put a small box between the router and the switch, and this box makes Netflow tickets. Okay? Also, we have big probes. Our probes, we call that big probe network performance management, which is probes which make metrics about the network and the application. So that we can do monitoring, but also we can do performance measurement on the network. And also we can do packet capture. Packet capture is a pickup trace on the network. It can be very useful when we need to have on a past event, you want to get the packet and bring the packet to a security guys in case of security issue, in case of performance application issue. This is one big, this is a big activity in the company. We have the capacity to follow 40 gig links with 8 million packets per second. With big data center, when there's big link, we look at the network on this big link. Another case here, I don't know if some of you are familiar with that. We are following the EGNOS Galileo system, satellite European system, and we look at the satellite multicast. So we develop a solution to look at to multicast traffic to see if there is no loose packet on the network for the European Space Agency. Okay. This is few box and product we are working on in the company. We have different customers. So as mentioned, some of them are Airbus Defence and Space, which is a big customer we are working with. Okay. Generally, Allianz, NATO, okay, and company Electricity, Safran, which is a French company, and we have few telco also, like Orange, but we have a few MTM. I don't know if there is South African in the place. No. South African, you know, if some of you are familiar with rugby, this is a sponsor of the South African rugby team. It's a big operator in South Africa. What is Netflow? So we already mentioned Netflow in a previous presentation. So I would like to explain how Netflow can help you when you get Netflow data into Zabbix. So Netflow is used when you want to do network monitoring. Okay. What we get. Normally, with Zabbix, you get information about SNMP information. You get information from SNMP, from router, from switch for equipment, and this information goes into Zabbix environments. And with that information, you get information about router availability, You can have information about CPU, RAM, drops, etc. And sometimes you get information about throughput per interface. So you get this coming there. And the problem we have in some case, or when the customer asks, or IT manager or network engineer, he say, okay, I got the throughput, but I would like to know which application, which IP, which TCP UDP ports, which conversation is running on my network. So when you activate Netflow on the router, the network can export data about this router here, and you export the tickets to a collectors, and these tickets will be extracted by the system, and we will get a lot of information about the IP, which protocol, which conversation is running on my network, who is talking to whom on the link. So this is like if you had small probe on every link, and you got this information coming to this environment. So when you activate Netflow on the router, all this router will send traffic Netflow to some Netflow collector engine. This is a specific software we developed. It's the engine which collects the packets, which collects the Netflow packets, integrates the packet into a database. And this, we do it for all the packets which are coming. I mentioned the slide before, 500,000 flow per second. This is the quantity of traffic that we can follow at the moment. Okay. So these collectors here support Netflow for Cisco standards, but also H5-Flow, because some of the equipment which are deployed on the network are working with Netflow. Some of them are working with H5-Flow. We don't mind. We collect Netflow traffic and H5-Flow traffic. Okay. So there is an unlimited device interface. It's not a software which works per interface. We collect the traffic. If you have 100 interface, 1,000 interface, we don't mind. It is a quantity of traffic that we will proceed, which will be generate here and calculate here. So what we get, we aggregate Netflow ticket to conversation, and we can have a 1 to 1 year data retention. I mean, in that box, virtual box, we have a database, and you go by in the past and check specific links, specific IP during 1 year, with the granularity of 1 minute for 30 months, for 30 days, and with 5 minutes during 6 months. Okay? After that, what we did, so normally we provide a solution here. This is a probes, or this is equipment with our proper GUI, with Java GUI, and with HTTP GUI to present our data. In that specific case, with Zabbix, so we developed something called collector engine, which is just an engine which collects the packets with the proper database. And with this full REST connector that we developed, we can send all that metrics stored in the VM to that Zabbix. So you don't need to have another box. You can put everything in the VMware environment, and you have your Netflow collector engine and the full REST connector, something called a plugin. We call that a plugin, which sends the traffic to the Zabbix server. Just a very quick top integration example. This is just to explain. When you are using SNMP on the router, you can have this kind of graphic. This is the bandwidth. But in some case, you say, OK, I have bandwidth in here, and I have the bandwidth out here. What I want, I would like to know which IP are running on the network. So if I go on that, and if I get this Netflow information with H5-Flow, I will be able to say, OK, this bandwidth here has been generated by this different IP, and I can check this one for all link during 1 year. So I can go in the path, zoom, and that as we do with Zabbix equipment. So this is what we can do. This is an example. This is a top user per site. Yeah. It's provided by Netflow. This is an example. The other example it is I want to see, but I don't want to see that per IP. I want to see per application. So I can have this kind of information also to see which application is running on my network. Here it's Google Video, SharePoint, WebEx, and so on. But I could get this same information with different other applications. So I can dig global WAN traffic and drill down into the application to go on that. I can zoom on that. And if I go down, I can have a table, for example, with all these IP involved, or all these IP conversation involved in that specific traffic. Okay? So everybody's aware of that because this is what normally we get when we do a SNMP request on a router. But what we can do, we can go more. We can have all this mentioned before there. Okay? IP, remote, TCP port, conversation, local domain. Voilà. All this information can be automatically sent to Zabbix. One case for Zabbix use case. One is this is one capacity planning. Okay, so I have application running on my network. So I have conversation between the application here and the site, which are here over there. And I want to have a specific look to see what application is running by my site here. So I can get information on that, which is running there. And I will get this information into directly into Zabbix. What I can see and say, if my network engineers or something in the company ask me to say, I would like to know which application, which protocol is running on my link here, I will be able to get this information with Netflow. Okay? This is in terms of capacity planning. That means who is using the network. If I want to go there a little bit more further, I can have a look also on the application which are running on my network. With the COVID, the 2 years we spent with the COVID, we use a lot of the application like Teams, Skype, Zooms, all this kind of application. So with the same technology, we can have a look on the different IP, and with the IP range which are public, it means Google, Teams, Microsoft, they provide the list of the IP, so we can identify the different IP and make a specific name for the different application and have a look on the network for this specific application. So for that, we can monitor teleconference service like Teams, as mentioned, Google, Meet, Zoom. I can do the same job with the application host in the cloud. All this application, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. And I can do the same also for the application, SaaS application like Salesforce and the other application that they are used into the company. Okay? Okay, just to understand what we are doing at the moment and what we are working on. On this, so as mentioned here, this is Zabbix for the SNMP. So what we can do, we can first send Netflow traffic to be able to tell to somebody about the link, what is running on my network, which application, which protocol, which port, and so on. And what we can do, this is provided with Netflow. But if we go further, and if we collect the information not from H5-Flow, which is provided by Netflow, but with an appliance, with a probes, as I mentioned from the beginning, we can have information about response time. So we can follow the quality of traffic on the link. For example, the RTT, the round trip time on the link, the packet loss, the server response time, all these applications which the probe measure, we can push this information into Zabbix. We can also do information-specific metrics for application VoIP, video, and so on. And also what we can do, we can provide also, if we have the application on the network, dynamic and cyclic packet capture. That means so we can also provide this information into the system, into Zabbix. For example, if, well, in this case, should be, this one has to be stored into the box, but this will be provided, and we can get the capacity to, if there is something wrong on the network, a big, huge traffic, we can pick a trace of all traffic and provide this information to security guys or something in the application side if needed. Okay, so now what we are doing, so as mentioned, we do it for Netflow, H5-Flow. That means we made the collectors, Zabbix integration with the plugin, which is available for V5 and V6 at the moment. This is the plugin for H5-Flow is available. And also we made the template for V5 and also for V6. This is what we did at the moment. And we are working on that because if somebody wants to get, okay, I would like interested in getting TCP or TTE, server response time, packet loss, and so on. So we need to do the job not with the H5-Flow, but with appliance. So we have also a collector called H5 appliance, which is an engine, which produces the metrics and push these metrics into Zabbix. Okay? And this is what we are working at the moment. And also, we are doing the same job for the people who are interested in getting information about multicast monitoring, because some, as I've mentioned, some customers are using our tools to look at the multicast traffic. And so there is a European Space Agency, but also we have few customers in Korea, for example, or in Asia, who are interested in getting this for the IPTV suppliers, which are interested to get information about the multicast on their environment. Okay, so for the workshop, I know we are supposed to work tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. I need to fix that because, as mentioned from the beginning, the guys who was in charge that has an accident, so we have to manage that. And so maybe we will have to change a little bit the program, and we are working on the workshop tomorrow morning because some of the information for the workshop are still missing. Okay? So what we can do, we can see what we are going to do and maybe change a little bit the program. We need to discuss that point. Okay? For demo and integration showcase, maybe we can have we have the booth here, so we can connect to the box, and also we can have a look on the solution and a few dashboards provided by Zabbix with the information collected. Okay? Yeah, it's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the good presentation. But there's actually one question that the community is very interested about. So how does the Netflow monitoring actually impact the sizing of the database and maybe overall performance?
Okay. Thank you for that question. So if I go back in the, as I mentioned, we have in the environment, we have the VMware environment. So we put IP engine, which is a system. And this system produce metrics, get the Netflow collectors, tickets, and produce metrics with this information and store locally into their database. So if you do a report template into Zabbix, so you put you create your template with items, and items are asking this information into the database just to provide this information. So all the information are stored into the collectors, which has its proper database, and after that, this information needed for Zabbix are pushed to Zabbix. So there is no problem normally with that, but even that depends on the quantity of Netflow you want to look at. We are talking about 100,000 flow, but we can have 500,000 flow, and in that case, when we have multiple Netflow sources with a lot of traffic, we can put different collectors into the VMware environment and make it a good sizing to avoid to have any problem. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you a lot, Frederic.
Thank you.